Hello, welcome to Three Crows Runes. My name is Jen. Let's do some rune readings. Today we are doing Pick a Bee. Because it's basically I had a bee in my dreams. There was a bee. They were good bees though. They weren't scary bees. They were nice bees like these. And then I was asking the runes what kind of reading I would do, and it was really quite interesting. It was a blank rune, which is of course, the whole be open, and then also implied connect with the divine. And then what helps is Yira, which is the harvest. So I was like, okay, well, this is August. This is the month I'm giving to Demeter. So the theme of today's reading is pick a bee and also working hard on your harvest. So we're bringing something through, but we're doing a lot of work to get that to happen. So we have 4 bee cards. We have the Bee Spirit for Prosperity from the Sacred Forest Oracle deck. We have the Bee and Pomegranate Productivity from the Woodland Wardens Oracle deck. We have the 8 of Pentacles from the gorgeous Unifying Consciousness Tarot, and we have the Honey Mother from the Fey Forest Oracle deck. So feel into these cards. One or more of them will have a reading for you, a message for you about what you're working hard on to get your harvest completed, and all the work you're doing on it. So that's the bees. So I will put the timestamps in the description, and I will see you at the readings. Bye. Hello to all of you who chose the Bee Spirit Prosperity from the Sacred Forest Oracle. So let me just bring this over here and I'll lay down the runes. We're using the Elder Futhark on Carnelian. I really ought to use other Futharks and other rune sets because it's been a while. It's been a while since I've used other ones. People might think this is the only rune set I use, which it mainly is, but I use the other ones. I use the Younger and the Anglo-Saxon and the Witch's runes. So, and the Alpha Beta runes, which I haven't used in a very long time, and I will have to refresh my knowledge of them because last time I used them, I forgot what one of them was. Until like partway through the reading, I'm like, wait a minute, that doesn't mean that. So, which was a bit mortifying to say the least. But anyway, that's not an excuse. I should just continue to go back and do that, keep working on them. Okay, so central issue for you, those of you who chose card number 1, the Bee Spirit for Prosperity, is we have Othala, which is the rune of the home and the homeland. So this is sanctuary, this is solace, this is protection, this is comfort and comfort zone. And so I think what you've been working on, the thing that you've been working on to bring through is just that level of comfort and sense of solace and sanctuary in your life. Leading up to this, what caused this actually is just feeling disarmed out in the world. You feel like, you need somewhere to rest your weary sword arm, and because you're out there doing all this stuff, and then you're like, I need somewhere that will actually replenish me. So what's going to help you? We have Ansu's reversed. Ansu is the rune of communication and manifestation and expression. It's reversed in the upper line, so I'm going to read this a couple ways. First of all, allowing yourself to be still and listen. Not stillness, so we're going to get to the stillness. You definitely are going to be doing stillness, but in terms of just audibly still, you're going to be listening and just sort of taking in what's around you. And you're going to be manifesting this inwardly first. That's another read on it, is that you're going to be, as you're listening and as you're quieting the din around you, you're going to be basically you're going to be starting, like, sort of visualizing this inside of you all, like, first, because reversals tend to mean inner. So you've got that going on. You've got inner communication, so communication with guardians, guides, gods, goddesses, etc., but also your higher self and all of that. So your inner communication is going to be very critical for this step, as will your inner manifestation of what you want around you, just sort of to feel that around you. But you're going to be doing that also by outwardly being more silent than usual, and just listening around you to what you need, what needs to be around you in terms of just like being quiet and just listening. What is not going to help is Ingvaz. Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. If you go into this without doing this, and you just sort of throw together what you think it ought to look like, without taking the time to be still, and without taking the time to basically inwardly listen and to communicate with your inner voice, your inner communication, let that happen, or even just planning it inwardly first. It's not going to be, it'll be rushed. It'll be like, yeah, I need this. And you just like throw the thing together, and it might not be as stable a surrounding as you would like it to be. The other way I'm going to read this is, you're actually worried about, how can I put this together? That's another thing that, it's very positive rune in the negative spot. So we're sort of thinking, it's like, how can I even do this? And that's why you're going to take the time to be still with it, and to be, basically calm and quiet, and let it start to create itself within you first, so that you can then express it outwardly as you move forward. Your next step on the path line, and what's pinning the entire reading, is Sovilo. Sovilo is the rune of the sun. This has to do with source energy. These are the things that whenever you connect with them, always energize you, always nourish you, and that's going to be key to the whole project. Is what you're working on is going to be something that allows all of that through, that allows you access to your source energy, that is a source of your source energy. Like, you can go there and have it. So that's what the key to the whole thing is. And for that, what's going to help you is we have Isa, which is the rune of ice. Ice is the rune of stillness and standstill. So this is the standstill I said we were going to get to. As quiet as you were in the previous step where you were planning the thing, to add the final really important main part of this, which is the fact that you're going to be able to go into this home situation, and it may be, well, it's upright, so it's sort of going to be a physical space, I think, but inner is implied, in order to really solidify that into somewhere really, really safe feeling and really comforting feeling, and just that where you're going to get your energy replenished, is to be very, very still, to allow the clarity to come through. And so once you just allow that stillness, and however you do this, whether it's through meditation, whether it's through, walk in the woods or whatever, to be very, very still, and to let the clarity absolutely come through, even from further beyond from what you're doing when you were planning the stages of this, and letting it manifest inside you. And this is going to be what gives it life, this middle bit. What isn't going to help is we have Thurizaz, which is the rune of the thorn, the giant, the gateway. It's the challenge. And you are also worried about crossing this threshold as well. Like, there's a level of, okay, I've visualized it, I've put it together in my mind, and it's something that I can put together and make. But adding that extra, very spiritual element to it, where you're actually connecting to your source energy, that almost feels like, I don't know if I can take that extra step. People are going to think I'm a bit woo-woo, and or whatever the situation is. You're not sure that you want to actually take that extra step. You want to feel relatively grounded, even though groundedness includes that. But in the modern mainstream idea of things, no, it doesn't. And it's like that whole thing about what my joke about magical realism is, like, or as I like to call it, realism, because there's no reality without magic. And that's basically the thing. But a lot of people have this idea that no, reality is just brutal and bitter and boring and adult and that's what it has to be, and nobody's happy anymore, and you have to be miserable, and like, no, that is not necessary. So it's this sense of, there's a resistance to taking that extra step, crossing that threshold into just the extra bit that you're going to be adding, that's going to really make it, I want to say pop. It's really going to make it bring the energy for you when you access it. So bring yourself back up to this. Give yourself the stillness. Like, ask yourself, why am I resisting this? Because I'm just going to allow this to come through. The more I can fill my home with this, or whatever home mindset I'm building for this, the more I can fill it with that. Nobody has to know this is what I'm doing. People just come in and go, oh, your place is so comfortable. It's like, yes, it is. Wink, wink to the universe. So that's that step. Your next step after that is we have Uruz, which is the rune of the wild ox. This is strength, health, and solidity, and just being able to stand up, in the face of the things that, you built this for this. This is what it was built for. So at this point, after you add this, you will have it be very, very strong, and you will have that strength as a part of you as well, and be able to resist any of the stuff that disarmed you before, because you'll have that. What's going to help you is absolutely, this is the fruits of your labors. You are getting nourishment from this. You are getting a sense of abundance from this. And it's basically, when you come in there, the time becomes present, like the time becomes present, and you are able to be present in that time and take in the energy that it is giving you, and all of that nourishment and all of that goodness. What isn't going to help is, we have Fehu, which is the rune of wealth and worth. Again, it's an upright rune in a negative spot. It's worries about that. So you are a bit worried about, not necessarily wealth as far as money, but just the sense of worthiness. So we have, you coming from, you were planning to, let's just rush this, put together what we think that the world would expect you to put together. And then this whole thing about Thurizaz, where it's like, I don't know if I want to cross that line of bringing in that spiritual aspect, which is extremely important. It doesn't have to be deity. It can be just, nature and the universe and whatever is spirituality for you, but that's what you need to bring through, because that's where your source energy comes from. And so, again, just that sense of, what if people look at this and they don't see the worth of it? It's like, well, it's not for them, it's for you. And so when you are in there, it gives you strength, it gives you solidity, it gives you health, and you are getting the fruits of your labors, and you are getting that nourishment and that sense of plenty and that sense of abundance. So it's not for anyone that you would be worrying about whether they think it's worth what you did or worthy of anything. It's worthy for you, and you have this harvest, and hooray, a harvest, because that's, we're doing the bee and the harvest. So what this is all going to lead you to is, we have Gabo. Gabo is the rune of the gift. This is always an exchange. And it's basically going to be the energy exchange that you get from accessing this going forward. But also, it's a completion. You will say, okay, now that's done now. And you're going to be able to check that off your to-do list, that you now have this that you were seeking right back at the beginning when you first got disarmed. So that is your reading for the bee and the harvest. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 2 people, all of you who chose the bee and pomegranate from the Woodland Wardens Oracle. Let's move that over here, and we're going to get started with the Elder Futhark on Carnelian. Let's see what wants to come out for this reading. Ooh, that's neat. I did mix these. That was one of the ones from the last one, and that one. So how are you? We are living in rare times. Hooray! Isn't that a curse in some culture? May you live in interesting times. Yeah, it's special. Of course, this is one of the pick a card readings, so this is for whenever you find this video. And things could be much, much better by the time you find this video. So if you're like, no, everything's fine now, check the timestamp, because then you'll be like, oh. All right, so central issue for this is, we have Ingvaz. Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. So you're working on active creation, which is exactly what all of these readings are about. You're actively creating, you're actively building, you're actively putting things together, and you're working towards the harvest. Is the harvest rune here? No, it is not, but that's okay. You're still working on your harvest. And this is productivity. So you're actively using what you have. I'm trying to make this, they're wiggly runes. You're using what you have to create and to shape what you can. But also, that's your focus, is you're doing something, and it's sort of for, like, what's the word? Not continuity, not prosperity, although it is prosperity. Anyway, perpetuity, I guess. You're doing something that is you're building something now that is to last into the future. What is going to help you with this is, you were either thinking about having a sense of home, having a sense of solace, sanctuary, protection, comfort, or you are coming from a place of solace, sanctuary, protection, and comfort, which is why you're like, okay, now I can work with what I have. So what's going to help you is, we have Lagus, which is the rune of the water. This is emotion, intuition, and heart, and flow. And so you're going to be tapping into all those things. First of all, heart. That's extremely important. And also, you're going to be using your intuition. You're going to be acknowledging your emotions as a river. So letting that flow, it's always in a state of flux and change. So letting that happen, it's basically all that emotional deliciousness. So that's going to help you. It's just while you do this, it's not just going to be you putting the things together in a cold way. You are going to be infusing what you're building with heart, with your intuition, your creativity, all of that good stuff. And it's going to be very much about as you build this, as you put together what you're bringing through into the world, that's going to be key. That's the water that waters it, basically. What isn't going to help is you're going to be tempted to just drive forward into it and forget this aspect of it, because it's a very yang thing to do. You're actively putting something together, and you might feel tempted to shut off the emotional aspect of it and just build. I know you can hardly see this. It's wiggly on the bottom. And just basically build with your hands and just not even think about the emotional aspect of it or the heart of it, and just pick up and do it. But that's actually not going to help you, because you're doing something that it needs that emotional component and that yin side component and that heart component to really have the richness and strength to last forward into the future that you're hoping it will. What your next step on the path line is, and what's pinning the entire reading, is Uruz, which is the rune of the wild ox. This has to do with strength, health, stick-to-itiveness, stubbornness, groundedness, solidity. And that's what you will have very shortly been able to build the bunch of tenses, the foundation of what you're working on. And it will be very, very grounded and solid very, very soon. Like right now you're doing that. And because you're adding this extra richness, it's going to dig in and be really, really strong and solid, and really what you want in a home. What is going to help is we have Thurisaz reversed. Thurisaz is the rune of the thorn, the giant, the gateway. It is the challenge. Reversed, it's a very difficult challenge, but it's one that you are up for, because that's why it's in the helping line. You are embracing this challenge even if it's impossible, but this is the thing that you need to do, and it's energizing you, and it's flowing from heart. So from the heart it goes to, it's like, okay, this is my challenge, but this is my life's challenge, and I am embracing this. And even if I never finish this project, but this is what I'm working on, and this is the harvest that I'm doing. Interestingly, with the bee and the pomegranate, because the pomegranate, of course, refers to, has a reference to Persephone and the underworld aspect of things. So not just the harvest, but the whole life-death cycle of things. So there's that, and so there's like a sense of, if this is something that takes multiple lifetimes, that's okay. I don't know why that popped into my head just now, but that's what did. So, but anyway, it's that kind of thing where it's a little bit bigger than potentially what can be completed, but you are still going to work on it as though you're going to work on it even if it can't be completed, because you've already got a solid base of it, and that's already giving you comfort and solace and sanctuary. So you're just going to keep working on it, and it'll be like your life's work, like the rest of your life's work, which is going to be this thing that you're bringing through. What isn't going to help is we have Sovilo. Sovilo is the rune of the sun, and this has to do with energy levels. You're a bit worried about energy levels for this. Once you've gotten started and you've got the base, like the foundation strong and solid, there is a concern about energy levels. I am actually going to lay one on top and one on the bottom for this particular reading. Oh, there's Yira. Hi, Yira. We wanted that. Yeah, and if you're worried about energy levels, there might be a sense of a temptation that you're just going to want to stop, and a temptation that you're going to want to just like not give up, but just sort of like wrap it up before it's finished, because we have Rilo reversed here. And so that's basically, that temptation is going to make you really worry about your energy levels, like almost like you're finding an excuse to do it, but you don't need that, and it's not going to help you anyway. It's not like you have to do it all at once. Like, that's the thing. as when you embrace this as this is my life's challenge, you might just do a little a day. You might do, a whole bunch in a day, or you might just do like one little step forward in a day. And ultimately what you're keeping in mind and what's helping you the most is this harvest, this, focus on the present moment, bringing through what you can bring through, and just the magic of that. And so, and it's going to be nourishing, and it's going to be abundant, and it's going to be something that you can always draw on. So this is all the more reason to make this your continual challenge, not in a bad way. This is the thing that I am doing, and I am happy to be doing this. Your next step on the path line, we have Ansus, which is the rune of communication and manifestation. You are going to be basically perpetually bringing things through. You're going to be expressing things in the world. You're going to be it's communication, manifestation, and expression. So you're going to be continually expressing this sense of home, and what you're creating that is very, very solid. That is what you're bringing through, which is what your harvest is. And it's a perpetual communication. What's going to help you with that is whenever you feel like you might falter, as this indicates might be a temptation at any given time, give yourself some stillness. Like, let yourself be still. You don't always have to push this. And when you're still, the clarity will come through. And what's the clarity? The clarity is your vision of the harvest. This whole thing is about the bee and the harvest. So you're working hard to bring the harvest through. If you start to lose that, if you feel like you've overexpressed it, let yourself have some stillness, and then you'll remember and it will come through again, and you'll be like, okay, this is what I'm bringing through, and you'll continue. What isn't going to help is we have Hagalaz, which is the rune of the hailstorm. This is chaos, things that are out of your control, nature, weather. And there's that sense of, it's worries about these, it's the same sort of worries about these things, like what if something happens that I can't control? Similar to the worry about the energy levels and all of that. It's basically like, what if something happens that I can't control? And also just things might feel like they're getting out of control, or you may feel buffeted around by just the chaos of life, and that may make you falter as well. This is the solution to that as well. Let yourself have some stillness so that the clarity can come back through, and you'll be off again. So ultimately what this is going to lead you to, we have the blank rune, which is, being open to things. You're going to be in a space that you've never been in before. It's going to be like a blank page. It's going to be trackless. You'll get yourself to the point where, like, I have not been here before, and this is all new for me, and this is wonderful, and look at all of this canvas I have to fill, kind of thing. So it's like you'll express and you'll express, and you'll keep doing this, and then you'll be like, wow, I have not exhausted. What's the word I'm looking for? I've used my stores, and now I can bring even more through, which is very exciting. It's like when you write, like if you decide to just like purge write, just write everything that's cluttering up your head until there's nothing. And this can take days and days and days, just like the immediate swarm of what's going around your head. And then when you get to the end of that, it's like, oh, now what's flowing through is very clean and clear and exciting and new. So it's similar to that. So I got to do that. I haven't done that in a long time. So that, card number 2, people, those of you who chose the bee and pomegranate, is your reading for the bee and the harvest. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 3, people, those of you who chose the 8 of Pentacles from the gorgeous Unifying Consciousness Tarot. Let's move the card over here and get some runes down. We are using the Elder Truth Arc on Carnelian Crystal. And let's see what we get about your harvest. Wow, okay, right away. Ooh, okay. That's cool. Gonna lay down the entire reading to start with, and then we're gonna go from there. This is very interesting so far. Like, this is really interesting so far. Yeah, that's the blank one. Doopy-doo. I hope you're well. Okay. Okay, central issue for this one, card number 3, people, is Dagas, which is the rune of the breaking of the day. So we are in a situation where we're bringing through a lot, and this is what this is all about. This is the harvest. You're working hard on bringing through, and of course the Eight of Pentacles is just continually improving your output, continually working on what you do on your craft diligently, and each thing is better than the last. So right now you're in a situation where like a lot is coming through. You're feeling a lot coming through. Leading up to this I think is because you have recently decluttered. We have Othala reversed. Othala is the rune of the home and the homeland. Reversed, it has to do with letting go of things that no longer serve, stepping outside of your comfort zone and finding a sense of home within. So I'm really seeing this as you've cleared out all the clutter, all the distractions, all of the mess and extra stuff that doesn't spark joy. It was one of my eyelashes, I think. So you've done that, and now things are flowing through so clearly and so excitingly and just so massively, and it's like your entire field of vision is filled, and it's like full illumination. So what's going to help you at this point, because it's like so much and you're like, what do I even address first? So what helps is, let's slow it down. Let's take it step by step. We have Ivaz, which is the rune of the yew tree. This is patience, slow growth, slow development, taking things step by step, moving between worlds, integrating things. It's just basically you see the path is long in front of you, and you need to remind yourself you don't have to do it all at once. It's all coming through, and it's very exciting, but it's like we have infinite choice but limited focus. So you're going to take it and you're going to move step by step with it. You're going to be patient with yourself. You're going to be patient with all of it, and you're going to be doing this step by step. And you're working diligently as you have been about this. So, what isn't going to help is you're going to freeze in the face of all of this. There is going to be a temptation to just go like catatonic in the face of this, because it's so much, and you're just going to be like, I can't even decide or do anything at this point. And it's just a temptation of, it's like this overwhelm. It's almost like the clutter had been a buffer against the pure, incredible, vast, massive flow in of just everything. This is the breaking of the day. So it's just like everything. Suddenly there's light and color and air. and like you'd almost forgotten about the light and color and air. And it's everywhere all of a sudden. And you can see everything. And it's just, there's going to be a temptation to just be frozen in place. Just be like, like deer in the headlights. Yeah. So anyway, if that starts to be the case, take your deep breath and bring yourself back up to, it's like, I don't have to do everything. I just take the next step, just your first step and your next step and the step that comes after. And that's all we have to do. And that's all anybody can be expected to do. Just do that, and that's going to get you past this stage of that. Your next step on the path line, we have Avaz reversed. Avaz is the rune of the horse. The horse is movement and also spirit. So you are not... It's like you're compensating for just the vastness of everything coming at you by being extremely still. And this is not the same stillness as being frozen, like rigid, not being able to move at all. But this is like choosing stillness and letting your spirit carry you inwardly, and not exhausting yourself and not running around crazy and running yourself ragged. And that's what this has been about. This is what pins the entire reading. This is going to be what you're going to be dealing with this as you create this thing that is your harvest, what you're bringing through. To just be calm, be still, let your spirit carry you, but inwardly trust that it's there, and don't run yourself ragged. That's key. What is going to help you with that is we have Rilo reversed. I'm going to read this a couple ways. First of all, reversals in the upper line often mean inner, and in this case it's talking about like an inner journey. So turn your journey inward. You already have the horse carrying you inwardly, so let that be. I mean, the Raido and the horse are interlinked, so because it's riding, so the horse is implied in the Raido. So you are having the inner journey while you're working on this, and this is you're not running yourself ragged outwardly. You are letting the horse carry you inwardly, and you are turning the journey inward. At the same time, this speaks of wrapping up things that you needed to wrap up. This is closing of chapters. So all of this that you let go before, all of this that you decluttered, maybe you are needing to give closure to that. Maybe you need to actually formally wrap up those chapters, maybe even ceremonially. So you're going to be doing this as you turn the journey inward and you encounter these things, and you're like basically acknowledging them and integrating them and allowing them to rest, retiring them. And this is going to help you as you move inwardly to settle all of what came before, so that you can deal much more comfortably with what is coming at you now that you're loving and is just wonderful, but you need to put some of that to rest. What isn't going to help you? We have Uruz reversed. Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. This is strength and health and stubbornness and resistance. And it's basically you're worried about resting. You're worried about not moving forward because you may feel like it makes you weak to not be galloping forward, or not even to not be able to take on all of this that's coming at you. So, I mean, again, this is also a worry. You know, what if I can't move forward? And what if I am weak? What if I am not strong enough to do this? What if while I'm doing this, people are thinking I'm not doing anything? Well, first of all, we're not going to listen to those people. And second of all, you know what you're doing. So you're a bit worried about that. You're a bit worried about appearing weak, or even just being weak by doing this, that you couldn't handle the entire thing. Nobody could handle that. It's like staring into the sun. So if that starts to be the case, this is all the more reason why you want to give closure to what you did with the clutter, getting rid of that, and also to take your journey inward and just sort of get comfortable in there, because your next step on the path line is Vunyo, which is the rune of joy. This is just basically clearing things up so that you can step into that, because at that point you can then step into joy. We have Vunyo as your whole step. Maybe there is going to be an aspect of seeking it here, but it is upright. So you're stepping into a situation like where you're allowing yourself to feel the joy. What's going to help you with that is be open to it, stay open to it, expand into that. Well, it's not count as, but it's the blank rune. So the fact that you've never been here before, the fact that everything has been cleared, and now you're stepping into this situation of joy and just going, wow, this is beautiful. This is like completely clear and open and trackless, and just I've never been here before. It's like a blank page if you're a writer, or a blank canvas if you're a painter, and it's just this sense of anticipation, but also potential. And the other thing the blank rune is, it implies connection to the divine, whatever the divine is for you. So whether this is nature, whether this is the universe, whether this is deity, any of those things, that can be what you're connecting to as well. So that's going to help you as well. But it's just so big and beautiful and open and for you. What isn't going to help is we have Nauthi's reversed. Nauthi's is the rune of need. Nauthi's always means tend your needs, but when it's reversed, it means drop everything and tend your needs. So it's a sense of worries about and if an emergency comes up and you maybe aren't prepared for that, because this is all new, because you've cleared all of that, and maybe there's something, maybe you're worried that you lost something that you needed as you cleared things out. So there's just always that, that whole paranoia and the worrying, as far as worrying like a dog worries a bone, kind of thing. It's like the little things that you just get gnawing on, and that is not going to help you, obviously. So if that starts to be the case, just remind yourself, so right now we're somewhere we've never been before. This is really exciting, and I'm feeling really, really, really good and really, really contented. And so I'm going to lean into that instead of this. What this is all going to lead you to is we have Ansu's, which is the rune of communication, manifestation, and expression, and we're back to this, which is great. This is what we've been working towards, clearing the space so that you can create, and so that you, the bee, can work on that harvest that you've wanted to work really hard on all this time, but you had too much to deal with beforehand. So now you can step forward into that. You can express, you can create, you can manifest things into the world that have never been here before. So that's exciting. So that, card number 3, people, is your reading for the bee and the harvest. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye. Hello, card number 4, people. Those of you who chose the Honey Mother from the Fae Forest Oracle, let's move that over here, and we're going to get some runes down about your harvest that you're working on. Ooh, that's neat. That was actually the central issue a couple readings ago, which is neat. Oops, what do we have? Very good. Yeah, so exactly what we're talking about. Working hard on your harvest. Ooh, neat. Okay. How are you? I hope you're doing well in these rare times. Okay, very good ending. I love the ending. I love the whole thing, but I love the ending, and you'll see why. So, those of you who chose the Honey Mother, your central issue here is Ingvaz. Ingvaz is Ing's rune. Ing is another name for Frey, and Frey is the fertility god. So it's active creation. You are actively working hard on this harvest that you're trying to bring through. So this is something where you're working with what you have. You're shaping what you need to. It's a very yang operation. However, it's also a very fertile operation. It's something very creative. Leading up to this, there is a fly in here. Oh well. Leading up to this, we have Ivaz, which is the rune of the yew tree. This is patience, slow growth, slow development, taking things step by step. I think you've built up to this point very carefully over time, being very patient with the process, taking things step by step, integrating worlds, and you've reached this point where now you're in the situation where you're going to put this together. This is your actively creative part. What's going to help you is we have Sovilo. Sovilo is the rune of the sun. This has to do with source energy. These are the things that whenever you access them, always energize you, always nourish you, always give you what you need. And it's like a return to source. It's like turning it off and turning it back on again. No. It's a return to your source energy, what always energizes you and is very true for you and resonates with you very well. What is going to help you in this stage is connecting to that, having that at hand. Make sure that you have at hand whatever it is that always energizes you and always nourishes you, because that's going to keep you with the energy that you need and support you in order to have that, in order to be able to take care of that. What is not going to help is we have algae, which is the rune of the elk. This is the moose. This is protection and support, and it is upright in the lower line. Upright runes in the lower line tend to be worries about that thing. You are feeling a bit worried that you may not have the support that you need for this because you are doing it alone. And this is not a problem, but it kind of feels like it should be so sometimes for you, and because you've taken a long time to do this and now you're actually putting the thing together and you're like, I don't know if I can do this by myself. And there's just that sense of, where's my support around me? I'm a bee, for heaven's sake. I can't do this alone. But you're the Honey Mother, which is, yes, obviously, if you're the queen, you need more, you need assistance, but here's your assistance. If you feel like you're missing the support that you need, this is why you have the source energy stuff at hand, so that you can access that, and that will replenish your energy and your motivation and your drive and your excitement. So what am I doing with this? There we go. I wanted it a little bit more centered. What your next step on the path line is Nauthi's reversed. This is what pins the entire reading. Your entire focus probably for this entire thing is going to be making sure that you have not only your inner needs taken care of, which is going to be critical, but also any emergencies that come up, you need to take care of immediately. Triage if you need to, but that's what you need to focus on. We have Nauthi's reversed. Nauthi's always means tend to your needs. When it's reversed, it means drop everything and tend to your needs. It also means tend to your inner needs. What is going to help you with that? We have Pertho, which is the rune of the lot box. This is surprises and fate and luck. You're going to be watching for what is being revealed, because as you work, things are going to reveal themselves. It's like the more you work, you clear things, and then as you clear things, that's going to open up and unbox, and you're going to see, oh, okay, I have access to this as well, and that's going to help me with this. So watch for what's being revealed to you. It's not reversed, so it's not necessarily going to be something that's being revealed to you about yourself, which certainly it may, but it's something that's going to be around you that's going to reveal itself, and you'll be like, okay, that was a surprise. It's a surprise that I realized was always the case, so I can now use that. What isn't going to help you is you are worried about happiness. You're even worried about if I'm happy, then somebody can take that from me, kind of thing. Like, that's a worry about happiness, kind of thing. Like, maybe I don't want to be too happy because I don't want to lose that. But I really see this mostly as worries about happiness. Same sort of thing as because it's a very positive rune upright in a negative spot. So we've got, for the same reason we were worried about, not for the same reason, but in the same way that we were worried about support, we're worried about happiness. But you're getting the presents, you're getting the gifts as you work, as you take care of things that need to be taken care of. Things are getting revealed to you, and so that's exciting. And it's kind of like, I think it was Georgia O'Keeffe talking about, being interested in something is is better than being happy, because happiness is fleeting. And if you're fascinated by something and it drives you forward, then that's a better emotion to seek, kind of thing. I've just completely mauled that quote. Please look it up. Georgia O'Keeffe, very cool. So what's going to help you at this stage, as you're taking care of your inner needs, as you're taking care of the emergencies that come up, you are definitely going to, you're going to be taking care of that. Like, you're going to be watching for what gets revealed, and what gets revealed is going to help you, even if it just keeps you interested, Your next step on the path line, we have Avaz reversed. Avaz is the rune of the horse. This is movement and also spirit. You're going to be resting after this point. Once you get all the needs taken care of, you're going to be able to not rest, but you should rest. Like, at this point, like, you need to stop so you can not wear yourself out. This is a pause, and you can see that all three of these are to do with that. So we have Avaz, which is the horse. The horse is movement and also spirit. It's reversed on the path line, so it's a pause. You're resting. You've stopped. You're not galloping forward. If you're doing any galloping, it's inward, and you're just basically feeling like you don't have to run yourself ragged at this moment. What's going to help is giving yourself that stillness, giving yourself that stop. We have Isa, which is the rune of ice. Ice is standstill. It's the stillness through which clarity comes. So you're just letting yourself do that. Don't run yourself ragged. Let yourself rest and let the clarity come through. Be still. What isn't going to help is you're worried about it. Just straight up, we have Uruz reversed. Uruz is the rune of the wild ox. This is strength and health and stick-to-itiveness, and it's reversed on the lower line. You're worried that if you do this, then you're weak, or if you do this, then you're just basically you've lost somehow. Like, no, you haven't. You need to rest. This is important. You need to inhale as well as exhale. So it's this is just sort of along the lines of the fussing and the worrying. Bring yourself back up to this. It's like, I'm going to let myself be still, and the clarity will come through. And that's what I'm waiting for. Like, I'm not going to run myself ragged. I need this. It's going to help rejuvenate me. And this comes from this. I mean, look at this line here. It's like, there's Sovila, there's the solar energy, the source energy. We have more revealed the more you do. And this allows you to be still in this stage, and the clarity will continue to come through. What this is all going to lead you to, and why I said this has a happy ending, is we have Dagaz, which is the rune of the breaking of the day. So this is your breakthrough. You've worked all this time, you've done all this, and then now things are going to come through like in a big way, like big time. This is the breaking of the day. It's the dawn. It's suddenly everywhere is light and color and air, and it's just like everywhere at the same time, and it's filling your entire field of vision, and it's full illumination, and it's like the total breakthrough that you've been working towards all this time. So congratulations. So that is your reading. Those of you who chose card number 4, the Honey Mother, for the bee and the harvest. I wish you all the best with this, and I wish you a lovely day or evening. Take care till next time. Bye.